Ladies and gentlemen, Demon Slayer is here and I've been playing it for 6 days straight now. I've played both the PS4 and PS5 version and these are two very different games. Not in terms of features or content, that is exactly the same, but at a technical level, the PS4 version has some problems that make it really hard for me to recommend. And trust me, it is not what you're expecting. There's a lot I want to tell you about this game, but this video is not going to be the complete review for two main reasons. One, we're still testing the online to let you know how good the netcode is. I've been testing it for 4 days straight and I'll tell you how those tests went, but there's a promise of a day one patch, so I need a bit more time to say anything definitive. And two, this video is under some strict guidelines from Sega, guidelines that I don't want to be restricted by when doing a full review. Like, this video cannot be over 10 minutes long. And also I can't show any of my gameplay in story mode, I can only show the footage they sent us, which to be fair, they sent us a lot of footage, but it doesn't include some of the good and bad stuff I want to talk about. And I can talk about it, but I just can't show it. And to me, that's not gonna make for a good review. So if you're looking for a complete review, please come back to the channel tomorrow, we'll break it all down. Today, I'll tell you what I think of story mode, the battle system, and we'll dive deep into the online, breaking down exactly why I don't think the PS4 version of this game is good, but the PS5 version is great. Okay, let's talk about combat. I love this combat system. They created something that's just fantastic. I love the combo freedom this game has. As long as you're respecting the combo timer, there are so many ways to extend combos with so many combinations of moves depending on how much meter you want to spend or the resources you have available. It's also super easy to understand. The more specials you do, the more damage. But when you use the same special twice in the same combo, it scales like crazy. So you're encouraged to fit all 3 specials from your character into a combo for maximum damage. And yes, I have already found the touch of death. It is a bit ridiculous. You need to activate Surge and spam a bunch of special moves into ultimate. It's basically just 2 specials over and over, really easy to execute. But you need 3 bars for this, a crazy amount of resources, and the combo needs to start towards the beginning of Surge, because if it runs out mid-combo, this might not kill anymore. But there you go. This is the world's first touch of death in Demon Slayer. Now let's do that same combo on another character, and you may notice that this will not kill anymore. What is going on here? I'll tell you what's going on. Characters have an invisible defense stat, so some characters will take more damage than others, which is something we had no idea was going to be a thing. And it's something that's definitely being used for character balancing. It makes characters feel more unique because they can go crazier with their moveset and then nerf the crap out of their defense to make them more of a glass cannon. Honestly, Shinobu is looking really strong. She is super oppressive. She's got plus frames everywhere, amazing hitboxes. She is relentless, but she has the lowest defense in the game, meaning she dies a lot faster than any other character. And that's just awesome. The defensive options of dodging, push block, and parry are very satisfying to use. And when I was covering this game before I got my hands on it, I thought push block was going to be a problem. I kinda don't think that anymore. It's totally fine. It's a good defensive tool, but it's not that hard to counter someone push blocking all the time. You have strong attacks which are armored and you can charge them to guard break in one hit, and grabs can start from really far away and they'll connect even in combos or while the opponent is blocking your assist. So there are definitely ways around it. But the one thing that really impressed me is that for an arena fighter, these characters are a lot more unique than they first looked. Special attacks have different properties, even amongst water breathers. For instance, if you want to extend a combo with you can just water wheel and keep attacking. Tanjiro's water wheel, however, cannot extend a combo like that, but it can be cancelled into another special move. So while it looks similar, extending with Tanjiro's water wheel means spending 2 bars instead of 1. Sakonji's water wheel can be exactly the same as Gyu's, but you can also choose to hold down the button, which extends it further and leaves the opponent in the air. We're talking about 3 water wheels here, which we would normally assume all just work the same. And as you can see, that is really not the case. This affects all characters' combo routes, optimal punishes, block string options, everything. And since characters are so much more unique than I first expected, that makes me feel a lot better about this roster size. 12 characters is still a low number. Once again, the high school characters are pure skins with a different ultimate, so they are not their own characters. Even their defense stat is the same as their regular counterparts. In fact, it's a disservice calling them separate characters given how unique everyone feels in this roster. But with 6 characters coming out later for free, I feel a lot better about this roster size given how unique each character can be. Will the community find something cheesy and overpowered? Probably. Will CyberConnect 2 fix it with patches? Probably not. But my first impression is that it is exceeding my expectations. This is an awesome combat system. That said, I find all of this very enjoyable on PlayStation 5. The PlayStation 4 version has a huge problem right now, and I have no idea if it will ever be fixed. And that's input delay. Let me show you what I mean. I'm here in practice mode, so completely offline, and whenever I move my stick, there's a little delay between the stick and the character starting to move. Now I'm gonna open up my PlayStation menu, and you'll be able to see that there's just no delay. There is no issue with my setup. I'm gonna hit X here, And you're gonna see the menu popping up. Every time we hit X, we're gonna boost the sound of the button so you can feel it, especially if you're wearing headphones. You can feel that delay. And when I hit X here in training mode, that's what happens. There's a native input delay that is very noticeable even when playing offline. It's about 15 frames, so some people won't notice it and that's fine, but I think it's pretty bad. Just makes the game feel less snappy than it should, and this delay stacks up with the online delay and makes the experience pretty terrible. So let's go online and check it out. Online features are very bare bones. You have ranked and casual matches, that's it. On casual matches, if you don't set it to private, it will just matchmake with your region. If you do set it to private, it opens up a lobby where you can invite a friend. After you invite a friend, the button becomes grayed out. These lobbies are built for 2 players only, meaning no spectator mode. You'd think they learned their lesson after Storm 4 with the whole #FixStorm4 movement, but it seems like they're making the same mistake again, and that's really unfortunate. But let's jump into a match. I'm playing against my editor. He lives about 10 minutes away from my house. We both have PlayStation 5s that are plugged in via Ethernet. This is the best possible scenario that you can ask for online play, and this is the delay. This is not acceptable. The game is adding around 5 to 7 frames of delay in a connection that in most fighting games has a 1 frame of delay between us. We live pretty close to each other. You add the native PlayStation 4 delay and that means we're playing with a delay of 20 to 22 frames. And these are ideal conditions. At this point, I think it would be less laggy with SharePlay. Now, what's really strange is that I also played against some friends in the United States, testing the connection between Midwest and Europe and East Coast and Europe. And the experience was actually pretty similar. The delay was 2 or 3 frames higher than with my editor, but that's about the delay that I expect from a cross-continental match. That is pretty much every netcode ever. The matches were all very smooth, except when I tested Wi-Fi. When that happened, the match would randomly stutter. So this is how the game responds to Wi-Fi, in case you were curious. But wired, the matches are very smooth. There's just a ton of delay on your inputs. Now we're getting around 20 frames of delay because there's about 15 frames natively on PlayStation 4. On PlayStation 5, the native delay is half of that, between 7 and 8. It's snappy. It's a fantastic game offline. Online, it's still adding those 7 frames of delay no matter what, which is not ideal, but the game becomes at least playable at that point. If I had to guess, the PC and Xbox versions are gonna run with that same netcode. You're always gonna have all that delay as a minimum requirement, but I have no idea what the native input delay is. I didn't get those codes, so I don't have a clue. And there's a reason why I spent so much time talking about all this technical stuff, native input delay, and it's because even the more casual players who don't care about the technical stuff will feel this. The game feels heavier. You feel like you reacted to something and the button didn't come off. And on PlayStation 4, this happens across every game mode. Yes, even story mode. This story mode is fantastic. I don't have a lot of time to talk about it anymore because, oh my god, it's almost 10 minutes, but it's probably my favorite CyberConnect 2 story mode so far. It has a lot of problems and I'll go into detail tomorrow, like it's way too easy, probably even easier than Storm 4, and it doesn't have any difficulty options. There are a couple of exceptions to this difficulty, but it's stuff that I cannot show because I'm not allowed to show my own story mode gameplay. But on PlayStation 4, this delay is gonna ruin even these exploration bits. It's sluggish. It's not fun to move around these towns, these free roaming bits. Gameplay wise, there's not a lot to these exploration parts. It's pretty much go from point A to point B. All the collectibles are displayed on the map so you can choose to get them or not. And sometimes you get attacked by a demon, which you can defeat quickly if you parry their attacks. And it was so much easier to parry on PlayStation 5 compared to 4. Story is a bit on the short side. My first run as a completionist, meaning I got S rank on every single mission, every single chapter, doing every optional quest, collecting everything. It took me 10 hours. After those 10 hours, there's no reason to go back to story mode. So on its own, I don't think story mode justifies the full price. I really like this story mode for its cutscenes, the quick time events. Every boss fight has a unique moveset for you to learn. I just wish it was a bit more challenging. And exploration mode needs a sprint button. It's fine when you go explore a side path and collect something, but when you're just returning to where you came from, it feels a bit slow, and that goes for both versions of this game. That said, as a complete package of story plus versus and online, I really like this game. I fully recommend it if you're getting it on PS5. PS4 version, I just can't. You can get through story mode on PS4 and have the full experience because the game is super easy, so you can power through the delay, but it just feels worse. And with that delay happening offline, online is an absolute nightmare. So I feel like PS4 is not getting the complete package here. Okay, I'm gonna get out of here. I'll look forward to the review tomorrow and catch me playing this game live on Twitch. You can come ask me questions, check out some gameplay, some practice mode, everything. And thank you very much for watching. My name's Globku and I'll see you next time. Bye!